Our government is not only committed to building new generation, but also to making sure we're smarter in how we use energy. To help achieve this, I am proud to announce that we will expand the Victorian Energy Upgrades program, which has been successfully leading the country in delivering energy efficiency upgrades for the last decade. As Australia's largest energy savings scheme, the VEU has a proven track record and has consistently delivered major benefits to all Victorians. It's reduced our need to invest in the energy system by $4 billion and delivered over 60 million tonnes of emissions savings. It's reduced energy prices for all consumers, even those who do not participate, and it has created thousands of jobs. But today I'm proud to announce that we will do even more. The program will be expanded to deliver a broad range of demand-side management upgrades for households and businesses. This includes supporting technologies that electrify consumption, such as reverse cycle air conditioners. It will also support businesses in installing mid-scale solar rooftop systems. Our new ambitious targets mean that the program will continue to set the pace nationally. The Victorian Energy Upgrades targets will be set at increasing levels up to 2025, with the initial 2022 target to be set at 6.7 million certificates. The program will then increase by 200,000 certificates every year to 2025. That's 7.3 million certificates in 2025 alone. These targets will not only sustain the existing 2,200 jobs in Victoria, supported by the program every year, but they will significantly grow the industry and deliver new jobs. This will reduce Victorian energy consumption in 2025 by a whopping 7%. These ambitious targets I'm announcing today will deliver emissions reductions that are the equivalent of taking 8.5 million cars off the road. That's more than all of the cars in Victoria. This means that Victoria's scheme is the most ambitious in the country, with the 2025 target significantly more ambitious than the 2030 target set by New South Wales for their scheme. Households who participate in the program are estimated to save $122 a year, and businesses can save more than $511 a year. But the program will also reduce power prices for every single household and business in Victoria by reducing wholesale energy prices, with every single Victorian household that doesn't participate in the VEU saving around $150 and businesses saving around $870 over the decade. At the same time, the program will drive $1.3 billion in demand-side management between 2022 to 2025. That means jobs for tradies and energy specialists providing everything from lighting and draft proofing to high-efficiency boilers to new smart energy management systems. This is a story of leadership, but it's also a story of success. In more than doubling our share of renewables in power generation, we have also reduced electricity sector emissions by more than 30%. And the pace of the transition is accelerating. Since June last year, we have connected 1.6 gigawatts of large-scale renewables, more than in any other state. And we are reaping the economic benefits of being an early mover. Victoria is now Australia's leading state for renewable energy investment and jobs. In fact, a third of the jobs in the renewable energy sector nationally are located in our state. This does not happen by accident. It happens by design and sheer ambition and determination to see things through.
Rod Woolley writes excellent news about the 2022-25 VEU targets. Congratulations, Minister. As important, though, of course, are the emissions factors for electricity that effectively determine the value of VEU certificates over the next 5 years. What emissions factors have you decided?
Look, thank you, and that's a good question. We certainly have revised those factors, and that information is available online on the department's website, I dare say, as soon as this this contribution is over. So please have a look at that. Obviously, we want to make sure that our VEU program reflects what the reality is out there in the system in terms of the the levels of carbon within our energy system as it is now, and to make sure that our program remains robust and is fit for purpose. And the purpose is to continue to put downward pressure in terms of the emissions that come out of our system. So yes, there have been revisions made, so please have a look online to understand better what the emissions factor determination has been.
Thanks, Minister. Energy use in industry and transport makes up the bulk of GHG emissions. Residential buildings is representative of a tiny fraction. What's your approach to decarbonising heavy transport and industry?
Certainly, there's a lot of considerable work that is underway on that front. Together with our climate change emissions targets, emissions reduction targets, I should say, our interim ones that will be announced in the coming weeks. We will also accompany that with our sector pledges. So there will be a sector pledge that will be for transport, one for energy, one for ag, and there are a number of others in that, but certainly one for transport.
So given the pending emission reductions targets and all the money you flagged in the budget for clean energy, will we still need as many coal-fired power stations such as Yallourn? If so, or if not, how will this impact Victoria's energy suppliers, and what assistance will there be for workers as coal inevitably drops off?
Look, it is no secret that we've got an ageing fleet of coal generators, and we've had that right across the country. And some of them in South Australia, you know, they closed earlier, and certainly they all have an end date. And with each summer that comes by, we can see that they are a year older and therefore more susceptible to breakdowns and outages. I think the real message here is that as a state government, we realised some time ago that we just can't wait for any formal announcements or otherwise to understand that we need a concerted effort and plan to facilitate the build of replacement energy supply. We know what happens when we have a system that is not owned by government. Others make decisions for us, and we have to live with the consequences. It's not a criticism of any of the owners of any of these facilities, but it is incumbent on us as a government to ensure that we facilitate the creation of more energy supply so that we are actually ready.
What role will hydrogen and carbon capture storage, CCS, two federal government priority technologies, play in Victoria's energy future?
Look, certainly hydrogen is a technology that our state has been a very strong supporter of, and certainly we, together with other states, including the Commonwealth, signed up to the National Hydrogen Strategy last year. And certainly each jurisdiction brings its own particular opportunities, opportunities for the development of hydrogen. An important feature for Victoria, which is different to many other states, is that because Victoria has been historically very more reliant on natural gas for heating especially, and we have a very much a gas distribution network that is very much going to all parts of the state. There are a few areas that don't have it, more so than other states. We've also therefore got infrastructure that could lend itself more readily to the introduction of hydrogen as a mix with natural gas in the way through to decarbonising our gas system.
Nick Bell from Environment Victoria welcomes the rollout of your support for renewables and improved energy efficiency, but wants greater clarity from you, if possible, on the accelerated phase-out of coal generators. What is the government doing to ensure those closures happen soon enough from a climate perspective, and to manage those retirements in terms of supporting workers and shifting the Latrobe Valley regional economy to more sustainable industries?
Yeah, thank you, Nick. Certainly, look, there's been a lot of investment in the Latrobe Valley by our government. Our government, whether it's a state or federal government, has been the biggest supporter of investment and new opportunities for job creation in the Latrobe Valley. Our focus has been on growing our share of renewable energy. In terms of what happens with the timing of any of the existing coal generators, I mean, that's going to be a matter for them.
Will there be retraining programs for coal power station workers, Emily asks?
Well, we're sort of putting the cart before the horse here. There have been no announcements that we're aware of about any immediate plans for any of the generators to do things other than keep operating in Victoria. Certainly Liddell Power Station has extended its life for a little bit longer, but those are matters that will be, looked at if and when appropriate.
We've had a few questions just picking up on the desire not to make a firmer commitment around retraining of workers despite the inevitability of the phase out of coal power stations. The question being, just in the retraining point, you acknowledge generators are getting older and will have an end date, and even if coal is replaced by new coal, new stations will be more efficient and require fewer staff. Don't we need now to look at upskilling that workforce sooner rather than later? And just a side question there, a separate question, but I'll sneak it in. Minister, what percentage of the jobs you expect to create from renewable energy measures will be jobs for women?
As many as possible, frankly. I've got a very big commitment in terms of promoting more women to a lot of leadership roles, including on boards. I mean, I've reshaped the Energy Safe Victoria into a new modern commission, and I was absolutely delighted the other day to have announced that the 3 commissioners are all women. So as much as we can work with businesses who end up owning these facilities to employ more women, absolutely committed to it. In terms of assisting workforces with transition, decisions need to be made by businesses around this. Now, what role governments can play to assist with that, we are always of the mind that, there is an important role for people to be given support to transition. Energy is not the first sector to face a major transformation. The centuries have got lots of stories of industries that have gone through a transformation phase. And certainly it's Labor governments in the past, national and state, that have always been there to support transition for workers, whether it was in the clothing sector that my mother was a member of for many, many decades, when import tariffs were lifted, or footwear, or any other car industry. It's only Labor governments that have ever taken that matter seriously.
Most states, including Victoria, focus their renewable energy strategies around non-dispatchable solar and wind. Why is there not a greater focus on dispatchable renewable energy, such as waste to energy, which also has the benefit of reducing waste going to landfill?
I just really want to point to what we've done in terms of the non-dispatchable side of things. I mean, our Victorian big battery is not the first big battery that we've supported in our state. I mean, 3 years ago, we supported two large batteries in Victoria, probably the first state to have really moved on that, and one at Gannawarra that is attached to the solar farm there, which is, I think, the biggest integrated solar farm in the world. I think that's probably still the case, integrated with battery technology. There was also one that we installed just outside of Ballarat. We also assisted to get a big battery installed at Bulgana project, again a wind generation farm with a big battery. We're on our 4th now, all through government effort. The market would not have delivered any one of these on their own. Dispatchable together with renewables. So let's be really clear about this. Left to its own devices, the market as it stands now does not incentivise big batteries. Now, in terms of the place of waste to energy, I'm just finalising our waste to energy policy. We've made some pronouncements around the role of waste to energy in terms of our waste hierarchy through our $300 million Recycling Victoria plan that we released earlier this year. There is a place for waste to energy. Its place is within the waste hierarchy. The important thing here, of course, is that waste energy should not necessarily of its own be seen as a source of energy as such. It needs to be seen within the context of your waste hierarchy.